Hello, my name is Chris, and this is Indecent Exposure, the show that got lost in the Xbox Live marketplace and eventually stumbled upon a bunch of strange-looking indie games. After sifting through the countless Minecraft clones and weird stuff, it tries to shine the spotlight on new and interesting games that you may want to play. This week's choice is Miasma 2, a tactical turn-based game from development team ESB Games. The game consists of 6 levels in which you control a small squadron and complete basic objectives: clear an area, ambush a convoy, defend a transmitter, that kind of thing. Unlike the original Miasma, which I haven't played but have looked into, you issue all of your orders for your squad in one go and then commit them. Once you've done this, both your units and the enemy will act simultaneously, and so you'll need to predict the movements of the opposing forces, or you could be left vulnerable. It's an interesting mechanic, although the enemy will usually just rush your nearest visible unit, and so those of you looking for a real tactical challenge won't find it here. Instead, what you will find is a simple but entertaining turn-based tactical game, which is a genre that we haven't seen a lot of on the Xbox 360. Okay, let's break down the gameplay just a little bit. Your squad usually consists of 4 characters, although certain levels use less, and each character has a different weapon as well as a unique ability, and so you'll rely on them for different things. Lena, for example, is your sniper, and although she holds a weapon in a really strange fashion, she can completely outrange enemies and one-shot some of the weaker troops. Whereas Eric, who can do a medium amount of damage at a medium range, is most useful for his healing ability. Deciding how best to use each character's strengths each turn keeps the gameplay fresh. You'll need to make use of cover to reduce the amount of damage that you take, and it can also help you to hide from enemies and gain an added bonus to your first attack. I would have really liked to have seen the enemy gain the same advantages, but they are usually more intent on getting in range as quickly as possible, and in doing so ignoring cover, and you will always see where they are on the map. That being said, new enemies will appear at certain points in a mission, and not always where you expect them to. There's one level in particular where you're forced to split your team into 2, and as you near the end of the level, you trigger an event that places a large group of enemies between your forces. By far the most difficult part of the game, and also the most satisfying to complete. Occasionally, you'll be provided with additional support in the form of a tank or 2, which one of your characters can repair using her ability. They're slow and awkward to maneuver, and they don't really do that much damage, but they prove to be great distractions and can provide mobile cover for your troops. In between levels, you'll be able to walk around your headquarters in first person, which I wasn't expecting, and as with the rest of the game, it looks pretty good. I want to get out of the habit of following up sentences like that with, well, for an indie game, because there are some fantastic examples out there, and I think that kind of sounds insulting. However, when you consider the size and the budget of a team like ESB Games and Miasma 2's price tag of 80 Microsoft points, it's impressive. Whilst you explore the headquarters, you can talk to each member of your team to upgrade their stats or try and learn more about their backstory. The dialogue isn't great and goes from "do you like me" to "let's have sex even though your wife is in the other room" remarkably quickly. The story itself is a pretty generic look at the future where an organisation has drugged the population of the world to prevent emotion, and it's up to your merry band of freedom fighters to save the world. Thankfully, you can skip a lot of the dialogue if you're not interested. Other than the main storyline, there's also a survival mode in which you surprisingly survive against progressively more difficult waves of enemies, and I believe you can compare your best results with others on your friends list, but I couldn't confirm this. Before I wrap up, I do need to mention that I ran into 2 game crashing bugs, and from what I've seen online, I'm not the only one, but I'm not entirely sure what caused either of them, and they certainly didn't prevent me from completing the game. It just meant I had to replay certain parts. It's frustrating, yes, but not enough to put me off recommending this game to turn-based fans. Miasma 2 was not the type of game I expected to find on the indie game marketplace, and, well, to be fair, my vague idea of what to expect from Xbox Live indie games in general continues to change. I enjoyed Miasma 2. It was great to play a tactical turn-based game after so long, and you get plenty of content for just 80 Microsoft points. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back in the next couple of days with my review of Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and then back again next Thursday with another episode of Indecent Exposure. See ya. Oh, and if you haven't seen the last couple of videos that we've uploaded, there is a roundup summary of E3, well, the press conferences at least, and last week's Indecent Exposure of Compromised. See ya. For real this time. I promise.